The stories you're about to hear are all true. They may sound like bullcrap, but it's real and it really happened. Welcome to my wild ass life.
So first, I got to Costa Rica in 2006. Um, I was 31 at the time. Still probably in the best shape of my life. Close. Um, I had surgery on my foot. Had to have it rebuilt. Had 9 bones fused together. Got some cadaver bone and stuff in there. So I was relatively fresh off of that when I got there. Um, as I said before, I didn't speak Spanish. I didn't know anybody. Um, I had friends that had been there, had some contacts that they had made that I hooked up with and was able to network from there out, um, and get myself established and make my way. Well, the place I first stayed at, as I said, the very first place I stayed at was the first place I came to. Um, Even though the my friend from Texas had said, "Hey, you sure you don't want to look around?" I said, "No, man, this will work. Just for a first night till I can find something long term. You know, night or two at the most." Well, the place I wound up staying a little more long term was a place called Nathan's Hostel. It was owned by another Texan, um, guy from Austin. It was actually owned by his dad. He ran it, and he had his night guy sidekick, um, guy named Don Cool. Um, but they had a Costa Rican guy named Andres that worked for him. Well, one day we were, it was 300 feet from the beach. And I was sitting in one day with Andre, and I had an acoustic bass, and I was sitting there playing, and Andre played drums. We were just noodling around, and one of the girls staying there, an American tourist girl, walked in all upset. She had been robbed. So Andre's like, he jumps up. I jump up with him. And he was like, come on. So we walked outside, and her friends gave a description of the guy. She was inside crying. Her friends were outside on the street, all gung ho, find this guy, this, that, and the other. And when they gave their description, Andre just kind of looked at me and said, I know that guy. Come on. So, okay. So we start walking, and we walk down to the beach and start walking back up north on the beach, looking for this guy. Because Andre's like, I know where he's going. I know who he is. I guarantee you, this is our guy. So okay. So off in the distance a little way, you could see a dude doing the crackhead shuffle down the beach, quick as he could. Andre said, come on, that's him. So we quicken our pace as quick as I could go on a bum foot. And Andre kind of jogging ahead just a little bit, and finally catch up with this guy. And as we got close, Andre ran past the guy, stopped off to the side as he went past, and as the guy passed him, he looked at me and nodded and pointed. That's him. Okay. So I just quickened my pace a little bit, walked directly behind the guy, reached around from the back, caught him around the neck, and guillotined him. Picked him up off the ground. As I did, he went to reach for his pocket, and I grabbed his hand with my right hand, pinned it up behind his back, and had him in a guillotine chicken wing modified move. Took him right to the ground and felt him as he went limp and went out. Put my weight on top of him, got his other hand up behind him, and had both of his arms pinned up behind his back with his face pushed down in the sand. So by this time, there were 3 police officers come running up. One was a female officer and a couple of guys. They come running up, and they were, asking what's going on. Andre explains to him in Spanish, "Hey, this is the guy. He just robbed some tourists that are staying at our hostel. You know the guy. You know who he is. This, that, and other." So as I've got him down, the cops are like, "How are we supposed to handcuff him with this guy on top of him?" So I just said, "Okay." Pulled one arm, put a cuff, cuffed it, pulled the other car down, cuff him there, and let him go. When they stood him up, his pants were hanging to one side. He reached in his pocket, pulled out a little 22 automatic pistol, loaded up with one in the chamber. And all 3 cops looked at me. Their eyes all got big. "Who is this guy?" And the young lady, she spoke English pretty well, and she asked me, "Who are you? Who are you?" And I told her, I said, "Listen, I'm staying at the same hostel they're staying. Andre is a friend of mine. He asked me if I could come help, and so here we are." "Yes, but he had a gun." "Yeah, he did. Damn good thing we got him off the beach, huh? But he could have shot you." "Well, yeah, that's a possibility, but it's I was prepared to negate that as best as I could, and I did. It didn't happen." And she just kind of, "Okay." They got the guy up, took him out of there, asked me to come down to the little Fuerza Publica station to file a report, make a report. Because in Costa Rica, even if it is a bad guy, even if it is somebody that's robbing you or something like that, if you hurt them in the process of apprehending them, they can file a denuncia against you. They can sue you. Rarely happens with guys like that, but it's always a possibility. So she explained that to me and said, "Can you come to the police station?" I said, "Yeah, can." I had on a pair of shorts, barefooted, no shirt, nothing. I said, "Yeah, can you guys give me about 20 minutes? Go back to the hostel, put on some shoes and a shirt and all, so I'll be walking on the street." "Yes, no problem." So I went back and changed, and when I got back to the police station, it was almost like a celebrity walked in or something. I mean, she was like, there he is. And different police were all coming up and patting me on the back and shaking my hand and all of this. And Andre came with me to translate, and Andre he was trying his best to translate, and he was like, They're basically saying it's too bad you're just an American coming through because they need you on the police force. Hell no. Hell no. I don't want no part of that. No. But from that point forward, I had friends in the police department. And this new little Southern Pacific beach town, or Central Pacific beach town, I should say. And everything was good. You get to be friends with them, they're going to be friends with you. And I mean, yeah, I could have got shot. My body could have been sent back to the U.S. in a cardboard box with a bullet in my head. But, sometimes, when shit's the right thing to do, you just got to do it. You think about that later. You don't run from adversity. You fight adversity. I think that's a lesson we all need to think upon, reflect, and in our current times. You don't run from adversity. You challenge it head on. If it's looking for a fight, you give it the fight of its life. Even if it means, hey, I might be shot in the head, but you know what? If you don't get shot in the head, you're going to come out better on the other side. Always remember that.